Ellen McCauley at Pray It Up. And I would be remiss if I didn't bring up something that I believe is happening this Sunday, I think it is. Well, first of all, I always ask this question. Does anyone have a son playing in this Sunday's Super Bowl? Anyone? Does anyone have a relative playing? How about a friend? Does anyone even know the teams that are playing in this? Okay, some people know the teams. What I'm about to say to you is something that will send shudders down some people's spines. The Super Bowl means nothing to us. Nothing. If New England wins, who cares? Don't like them. If Pittsburgh wins, Pittsburgh. Philadelphia. Is it Philadelphia? Yeah. Philadelphia. I say good. They beat New England. But is it anything to eat over? We have to eat over the Super Bowl? Go get him, Tom. Pass me that burrito, please. I am saying to everyone here, no one better write on their log, Super Bowl. Because I will make you stand up in front of this group and hold your log up and go, I did it. I wrote Super Bowl. Don't do it. Please, if you have to go to a Super Bowl party, you can watch the game and have a salad with turkey. You can have low-fat snacks. It is not a national holiday. It's not Christmas. It's not your birthday. I'm saying to you, I wish Lent started next Sunday, and I would say to you to give up the Super Bowl for Lent. But think about it. It is not worthy of overeating. Okay. 30. If you had a son in it, I was going to tell you to eat whatever you wanted. But you don't have a son. All right, people are so quiet. They're like, I was going to eat a lot on Sunday. All right, 30 self-defeating beliefs. I love this. I love these 30 self-defeating beliefs because I was reading through them, and I'm just going to hit a few. Number 2, I need to make others happy so I won't be rejected. This is huge for me. I'm always trying to make everybody happy. Number 4, I have to earn other people's approval to feel good about myself. When you were an adult child of an alcoholic, when you grew up in a kind of a home where you didn't always know what was going on some of the times, you almost feel like, I got to get that approval. I got to get it. And for the past 10 years, I've been trying to get my approval from God, trying to make God happy. Will Jesus be pleased? Number 10, I need to do more and more to be worthy. You see, I got a theme here. These are mine. I shouldn't put my needs before others. Jesus says, take care of yourself, love yourself. And this one, 13, is huge for the group. I'll never really change. A lot of people think that. 17, also, I don't have time to nurture myself. This 1 hour a week is our time. This is our time. From 6:00 to 7:00, it's about us. And there's nothing wrong with that. If I speak my mind, I'll be rejected. I was very worried that if I spoke my mind about the Super Bowl, that you guys would reject me. And you kind of did. So now you know I have to earn other people's approval. So now you think I'm going to say, oh, go ahead and eat whatever you want. I'm going to stick to my guns. No. Also, number 20, this is huge. I should be farther along than I am. This is huge. Number 21, this is big too. I better not be too happy or I'll just have farther to fall. How many people think that? I had a person in the group once who said she lost 50 pounds. She probably had 50 more to lose. And she said to me, I'm done now. I've lost 50 pounds. I'm not going to lose any more weight. And I'm like, oh, really? And okay. And I said, what brought you to that decision? She said, I want to have 50 extra pounds in case I ever get cancer, so that, people always lose a lot of weight. What if I lose 100 pounds and I get cancer? And I'm like, what? I mean, really? This is what I mean about self-defeating thoughts. This is what Judy taught. Think about what is good. Think about what is kind. Think about what is beautiful. Don't think you need some beef to fight the cancer that you don't even have. Whoa. Also, things will never work out for me. Huge. Oh, I like this. I shouldn't have to ask my husband what I want. Do we think our husbands are mind readers? I don't even ask my husband what I want. I write it down, because if I ask him, he'll forget it. So I write everything down, and it is beautiful. It's led to 30 plus years of happiness. Everything I write down. Bob, and he's like, oh, wrote it down. This is the key. Wives, you want something? Write it down. And oh, this is a funny story. So one of my friends said, Ellen, I'm going to do that. I'm going to write it down because my husband got the day off. I'm going to write 10 things down. So she wrote 10 things down, and she got home, and every single one of them was checked. And she's like, oh my gosh, you did everything on the list. And he goes, what do you mean? She goes, well, they're all checked. He goes, yeah, when I read it, I checked it. He didn't do any of it, but he checked it because he read it. That's one of our favorite stories. So a new rule is you can't check unless you do. So you don't check it. Also, I can't do this. I can't do this. Number 30. I know there are people who say in this group, I can't do this, but here's what I say to you. There must be a vestige of you somewhere in there that thinks you can do it because you still come. You still come. Every time I see you, I have hope because you still come. So that proves to me that there's some place in your heart that you think I can do this because you're still here. And if you have a limiting thought, and I've been doing this, so I see this, I have to earn other people's approval. Why do I believe that? I look back at my life and I think things in my life that have made me feel that way. What seems true about that? Well, if you don't have people's approval, they certainly let you know, don't you? Don't they? Yeah. And they give you a lot of grief and a lot of hassle. And that's sometimes uncomfortable. Also, what may concern me if that belief were gone? I'm not saying that we should all do whatever we want at the expense of others, but we should also take care of ourselves. I love that. Really think about it. But you can beat this defeatist attitude. Do you know that the antidote for a snake bite contains the same venom from the snake? So the cure for defeatism is to almost take that defeatist attitude and use it as part of the cure. I can't do this. And you know, I can't do it because I really haven't embraced what I need to do it. But what can I do to be successful? I've failed in the past, but that doesn't mean I have to fail in the future. You take the thought and you keep talking. You keep talking until you get to the point where you turn that I can't do that into some possibilities. It talks about someone who's taking the bar exam, and she was so immobilized thinking she was going to fail, that she was just at the end of her rope. All right, so you think, I'm going to fail the bar exam. All right, I'm either going to fail it or I'm not. So what happens if I do fail it? Well, I can always take it again. People take it again. I know someone who took it 7 times. I never called them to be my lawyer, by the way. Anyway, I'm only kidding if you're watching the blog, which I'm sure they're not. Also, I like this. What's the big deal? You have to see your fears and say, what's the big deal? Now, when I took a civil service test, I had to score in the top 3. And the thing is, if I didn't keep my job. I would have gotten let go, and I already had the job. They hired me provisionally, and so it really made me very nervous. So then I thought, well, that was a hard one for me to do, because I'm like, well, if I flunk it or don't score the top 3, I'm going to lose my job. Well, there are other jobs, and I go, but I really like this one. So I really worked on that. Some of these are going to be harder and harder to do, but we need to dominate this defeatism by working it out, stopping that language that we do. Like you say things like, I'm not a very organized person. You've labeled yourself not organized in every aspect of your life. Or you could say something like this, well, it's certain things I'm not as organized as others, but I can work on this. And you always say, would I say the same things to my best friend or my child that I say to myself? Instead of I'm not a very organized person, you can say, I'm working on my organizing skills. Instead of saying, I'm fat, you can say, you know, I do have a few pounds to lose, but I'm working on addressing that. Or you just take what you say about yourself and put it in a more positive thing. I didn't do well this week, but I learned a lot, and I'm hopeful about next week. instead of saying, I had a bad week. I'm not going to make you raise your hand if you said that, because a lot of you have said it. And I know when you say that, you mean eating-wise, unless you extrapolate and say this happened, that happened. And there is a clutter of this worry. You actually clutter your mind worrying about things that haven't even happened, the cancer that you don't even have yet, and you need to get it out of your mind by thinking of things that are good, that are true, not make a mountain out of a molehill. I'm trying to hit the high points on this. Worry is a misuse of imagination. Today I started thinking about what I was going to say to someone if they said something about something, but they hadn't said anything about something. So why was I rehearsing what I was going to say to them? It was ridiculous. I'm like, stop right now before you go any further. I wouldn't do it. I stopped myself dead in the tracks. I said, I'm not going to rehearse what I'm going to say to that person when they say something about this because it didn't happen. Stop yourself right in the track. Also, the bookmark principle. I told you about writing it down. This is so good here. When you read a book, do you put the book down and all day go, I'm on page 52, I'm on page 52, I'm on page 52, I'm on page 52? No, you put a bookmark in it. I do not read a book without a bookmark, and I've never dog-eared the corners. Don't do that. Especially if it's a library book. Don't do that. But what they're saying to do is you need to have a written thing where you write down and remember what you're going to say about things, what you're going to be doing, so that you don't have so much clutter going down, so that you don't have a defeatist attitude about doing things. I'm going to stop right there, Bob.